procuring equipment. So there was a requirement that bidders submit a brochure. The brochure was meant to contain technical specifications of the equipment they were offering to supply to us. In this particular case, this bidder submitted a brochure which had technical specifications, but there were parameters that were in our specifications that were not in the brochure. So the evaluation committee could not admit that particular bid because the equipment they were offering didn't fully meet our specifications. And we have annexed the evaluation report, and that evaluation report contains the parameters that the brochure missed. So the bidder was actually validly disqualified.
But Chair, that's a little bit interesting and complicating the whole thing. First, it tells us that now you disagree with the auditor's submission of audit. Yes. That were 15 submitted bids, but only 3 were evaluated as responsive, out of which the highest bidder was awarded. That must have gone through a process. You cannot, if the brochure was the knockout stage, then from 15 to 3. That's number 1. Number 2, it is also okay for us if you disagree with auditors that what is submitted here is not true. But when you start your statement that audit is noted, that is like saying you are agreeing. Because we want you to, that's why they're here. If you disagree, say, they will have to explain themselves. And if what you are saying were said to them, then they would not have ended up with this. So they are saying there were 3 out of 15. And the lowest was knocked out on issues or conditions which were not existing in the initial bidding document. We are also looking in fairness here when we do business with the communities. So maybe you are complicating it, but we want straight answers. If we can get that, the answer I'm looking for. That's why I'm looking for those 3 documents. The original bidding document, the professional opinion. You know, if you have them, you don't need to belabor on this. Yeah. They are there. You can just produce it to the Secretariat.
Yeah. As requested, we'll provide the professional opinion, we'll provide the tender document.
Thank you. I think you can do it. Let's go to the issue of staff secondment. The document Buluma had, the law which you are reading on procurement.
Yes, Honorable Chair. It's an amendment 2022.
2022.
Yes.
Does it apply to the audit query in under discussion?
Chair, will you allow me 1 minute? I come back.
Yes, yes.
Chair, it's I didn't at the point I was reading that provision. I had not realized that the query was a 2021 query, Honorable Chair. I'm sorry.
Chair, on behalf of my understanding, I apologize. I think because the responses are happening now, and it's been a modus operandi with that amendment from 2022, he erroneously used it to answer a 2021 query. So we apologize for that, and we ask for leniency. And yeah, we withdraw that.
You are lucky to have a quick see of powers and privileges, so that next time, and Buluma, I will not need any other intervention. The moment you will find yourself in that position, I'll quickly invoke this section. Section 27, 3G of our Powers and Privileges Act, where yourself willingly furnishes Parliament or a committee with information which is false or misleading, or makes a statement before Parliament or committee that is false or misleading. A person who commits an offense under this section is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 500,000 or a term of imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, or to both such a fine and imprisonment. This house, this sitting, is an extension of Article 125 of the Constitution, and your legal counsel will advise you that we are not just sitting to spend taxpayers' money. So please be warned that I would not hesitate to invoke that section, should you again be found in that corridors to the committee. Thank you, colleagues. Let's move. We just have 10 minutes to.
So you have read it, so it's okay.
Thank you. So, staff secondment. I want to hear from you, CEO. Colleagues, anyone with a first one, or I proceed? Comment. When you look at the response you've given, it has not told us the basis for recruiting the additional 570. I have not seen in your response why you had to recruit the 570, but you just called them as casuals.
And administration, Director Ebla, maybe she can respond to that.
The question is why we have staff over
We are on staff secondment.
Okay, sorry, Chair.
Before you go to approve the establishment, beyond the 6 years?
That is why we are explaining why we kept them more than the 6 years that was approved. But we started the process in 2021 of trying to release them back to the ministry, but this did not happen.
So it took you 6 years to get the instruments approved?
Our instruments have been, it's been a long journey to get them approved. We've had quite a few interruptions. So we started this phase in 2019, and we finally got them approved this year, 2025. Yes.
Take me through the issue on an approved establishment.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of an approved staff establishment, I'll go back to our response, why we had staff over the 341. And the reason at that time was, at the time we have a board approval that allowed us to go over the 341, but not on permanent and pensionable terms, but on short contracts. So these short contracts now ended up being extended almost every year, as we were now in the process of getting the approval from Public Service Commission.
What does the law say?
The law says that for any recruitment, of course, we have to go through our board first of all.
No, the law on extensions.
That you cannot keep extending, but we were doing it within the law, Chair. The people were getting some breaks at some times, and we went for longer term contracts as opposed to very short term. So towards the end, we were doing yearly contracts. So basically, they were employees.
For how long? Those are more than. So somebody has been a casual for 6 years.
We weren't calling them casuals. At the end, we were calling them, they were on renewable contracts. They were not casuals. They were not on the permanent and pensionable terms. They were on 1 year renewable contracts.
Under which scheme of service in the civil service?
It's under our Human Resource and Procedures Manual, and also on the public service. They were not in the scheme of service, but they were categorized as short-term contract employees.
CEO, is there such a provision in law?
Well, I'm not avoiding to answer that, but we solved this yesterday. I gave out 250 letters of permanent and pensionable to all those towns around there. But I'll ask her or to continue explaining. I'm not quite familiar with the 3 months, 1 year contracts.
You know, see what you've done, you've cleverly thrown her under the bus.
No.
That's what you've done. You've done your part. There is no such, I want the legal counsel. And do these people have a legal standard in law in terms of being employees of KEMSA?
For extension of contracts, the employment that does not quite define. It's left to the discretion of the employer. But then under the principles of KEMSA, these people are contractually KEMSA staff for the period that they've been. That was until yesterday, when now they're permanent and pensionable. But then for the period that they were under contract.
So I want you to go back to what you've said. You said there is no provision in law. So the law is silent. Anybody can employ you for forever on 1 year contract.
No.
Yes.
At the lapse of your contractual period,
yes,
which is defined by your contract, either 6 months or 1 year, then the employer should extend. If there are no underlying issues that then deter the extension of the contract.
So what I want you here to do for me is to give me all historical analysis, or do it for me in your submission, and give me when did you first employ X, all the 570. Give me when did they join, year 1, and where are they, so that we need to know the statistics of how long this person has been your employee on contract. Then we'll make our informed legal decisions on what we should make.
The thing is, I'm not sure if there are 570 now, because as she said earlier, that some whose contract expired were not renewed back in 2023. So we look at the number.
Don't worry, the audit query for 2021 gives it at 570. So you originate how do we deal with the issue of an open law that she has said. If there is a lacuna in law, we must propose to Parliament what should we do about that. So that Kenyans cannot keep saying, Gen Zs are looking for employment. And if we can give them jobs, I think I would have solved one problem for this country. And one employer is KEMSA, who is a good employer for now. I want to go to the issue of weakness in cash management.
This weakness. But also there is this relationship of automation and the controls. Still, would like to know what evidence is there that you have that control when you have not surrendered your impress, the automation will reject, because these are done by human beings. This is the problem. The automation system may be perfect, but controls still have to be there in case there is some interference. So is this also anchored on some policy, or what is it? How do you convince this committee that this is in place now? I think that would be my interest.
I wish to confirm that when we engaged with the auditors on this, we noticed the weaknesses in our controls of the interest, and we wholly automated our interest management system. It is automated in such a way that if you have an outstanding system, an outstanding interest, the system will not allow you to apply for another one. We have a self-service portal that allows you to key in, that requires you to key in the details of where you are going, the description of the activity, the purpose, and the number of days. It's a self-service portal. But in case you have another outstanding interest, even if you fill all these details, the interest will not go through. It will not be processed.
So that's the current situation now.
That is the current situation.
So just respond to the situation as picked by the auditor that you have no defense. It's good. You proceed.
Engaging strategies that can help in mitigating any short-term market movements, because that is what could prevent that kind of loss. Do you?
Yes, I've made a policy that as long as the bidders are Kenyans, we shall never deal with the foreign currency. So that's a policy that I gave to the procurement directorate. So we do not have this problem at all now. Unless it's a donor fund like Global Fund or international participants in our tenders, locally here, that was quite rampant. We agree with the finding. It's quite rampant, but we have made a policy that this will never happen again. You quote in Kenya shillings.
Was this just from the local procurement, or it included the international tenders?
International tenders was being paid by the currencies in which they bid, but Kenyan suppliers, we had to convert for them to pay, and when you convert, you enter into serious losses because of the volatility. But maybe the Director of Finance can shed more light.
Chair, in addition to what my CEO has mentioned, internally we have also come up with an arrangement, because we have engagements whereby we sell services to donor partners, and sometimes they pay us in foreign currency, in USD. That is what we use to pay the foreign denominated procurements or liabilities, mostly from out of the country, not from inside the country.
When you say from out of the country, you have a foreign account outside the country.
Not exactly, Chairman. We have a dollar-denominated account.
A local dollar-denominated account?
Yes.
Okay. So it was a forex loss?
That is true, Mr. Chairman.
What did it emanate from? Where did it come from?
It came from the differences in exchange rate between the purchase order rate and the payment rate.
Okay.
For example, if you are issuing the purchase order to $1, then at the point of payment, the dollar Kenya shilling rate has shifted due to market dynamics. It is 110. Then there will be a loss of 10 shillings for every dollar that we pay.
Is there a situation where a local supplier was paid using a dollar account? He bids in Kenya shilling and is paid in dollar account.
No, we always convert to the central bank rate ruling at the date of payment.
No, you are not answering the question. Converting to Kenya shilling account, the forex loss or gain applies in the dollar account.
Yes.
Is there a situation like that where supplier X, whom you owe 100,000, instead of paying, what's your bank? KCB or which one?
We have
local.
We have 6 banks in the panel.
Mention any.
Yeah, cooperative bank.
Cooperative bank.
Yes.
Kenya shilling account. And which other dollar account is the cooperative or whichever?
Yes.
Bank X. Is there a situation where you paid a Kenya shilling supplier using a dollar account?
No, that has never happened.
So that you convert dollar into Kenya shilling and then you pay to the local supplier?
No, that has not happened.
That has not happened. Chair, let's listen to this.
When supplier supplying you, you give you a bid board guarantee in Kenya shilling or whatever amount he give to you. When you are paying him, you do a transfer to the account. How do you transfer? Because you have a Kenya shilling, you have a Kenya account, and they give you an invoice. You just like transfer to the account. Do you exchange first, or you transfer with the new invoice or the old invoice? I don't know whether you're getting me.
I have not gotten the question.
Here is the supplier, yes, who supplied you with a guarantee of what the bid, the guaranteed bid of Kenya shilling. He guarantee you with Kenya shilling. Do you pay him with dollars? If I guarantee you with Kenya shillings, then I invoice you in dollar shillings, dollar currency. Is there an effect like that?
There will be the translation, although I have not experienced such kind of a situation.
Is there any either?
I have not experienced any, but if it was to happen, there will be either exchange loss gains or exchange loss.
That's where I'm coming. Because if I guarantee you with Kenya shilling, you are supposed to pay me back with Kenya shilling. I can't guarantee you with Kenya shilling, then I invoice you with dollars.
Honorable Chair, I have not experienced such a situation where the guarantee is in a different currency.
We need from that issues way forward. At least you have acknowledged the 174 million forex loss is there. Now, tell us, pardon?
I'm saying it was there.
I've said it was there. But because we are reviewing it now, it is there. So it depends. I know you don't want it to be associated with you. A situation which is okay. But your review is going to come soon. Is it next year or this year? So we'll be saying it's your turn. So it's good you prepare well. One thing we need to come out is the policy, the hedging policy of the forex policy that you have. Maybe if you can see head of finance, head of the director of finance, you can tell us what is your hedging policy now?
The hedging policy which we have come up with is that one, local suppliers can now not bid in any other currency apart from Kenya shillings. We have made that very clear in our tendering.
What does the Treasury say? Director of Procurement. What's the National Treasury guideline?
The same thing what he has said, that actually when you are doing the tendering, clearly indicate actually that actually it will be done in Kenyan shillings, unless it's a foreign, like when we are doing the global fund. But it's well directed.
When you could invoice with dollars, you are supposed to pay in dollars. Am I right? If you are paying in dollars and invoice me in dollars, and you know that you will pay him in dollars, you are not supposed to get lost on that, because he invoiced you in dollars. In the supply time, invoicing in dollars. X date rate will come by dollars, because you know the terms. He supplied with dollars. You are supposed to pay him in dollars. The value of dollar, even if it goes up, it goes up with the invoice value. Because we are not supposed to exchange. The value, the invoice value is exactly the same value. Am I right?
Yeah, you are right.
So you are paying that invoice with dollars, unless you are exchanging to Kenya shilling. The invoice value is based by the invoice you are given. You are given invoice with dollars, not Kenya shilling.
Honorable Chair, can I respond?
Yes.
Now, here we have a challenge suppliers who supply health products and technologies in foreign currency. But now our customers, on the other hand, they pay us in Kenya shillings. So if you were to go that route, then it would mean that we get Kenya shillings, we convert into dollars, so that we pay this supplier. In the process, the losses would be humongous, and they would be significantly higher than what we have today. So what we normally do, at this allowed by accounting standards, at the point of paying, if I am paying you today, you had supplied invoices, goods worth $100, and the dollar rate is 129. As per the central bank rate, a mean rate, I will use the $100 that I owe you, multiply by 129, then I pay you that in Kenya shillings, the equivalent in Kenya shillings. But and that is where the fluctuation in the...
What I'm saying here is about the supplier, the loss of that.
That's where the problem began. And CEO, when you go to question number 3, in 2020-21. It's not only on medicine, Mheshimiwa Elena. When you look at the procurement of forklifts, how did you invite the tenders? Some people quoted in US dollars, others quoted in Kenya shilling, others quoted in euros. That is the genesis of the disease. So, CEO, the way you said, address the issues from where they begin. They begin from those two guys. If you get it right from those ones, finance will not struggle. Because even if you quoted in US dollar and you collected money from counties in Kenya shilling, you would convert it back to dollars and pay that person. What Mheshimiwa is saying is true. He'll be paid at zero loss. So let's improve from there. Let's finalize.
We make law, we amend laws, whether be it procurement or whatever. For example, if the local bidder bidded in foreign currency for a foreign item, how do you go about that? Because that is what is playing here. Or if a foreign company bids in dollars and you are paid by counties in shillings, how does that work without giving the institution a loss? So it's a point of reflection. If it is not working, you tell us, we fix it by changing those amendments and guidelines from Treasury. For example, we are coming with a new policy here, which I like, CEO, that when these transactions were being done then, they were based on what? The Treasury was there. Why did they miss the boat then? So to me, the gist of all things is not just really the product of what has gone wrong, which we call symptoms in medicine, but going to the original cause of a disease. What is it, so that we fix it? Thank you, Chair.
I'll require a lot of writings from you, CEO, respond to those issues. We love to invite corporations of interest and other parties of interest to give us the full backup. True to what you said, CEO, KEMSA, there is a lot of belief that it is still the KEMSA of those years. I'm happy most of you are new faces. You're also reading. Just give us what you are reading about yourselves. Let's write about it also. Those who did it, we are going to invite them to tell us why did they do so that we close up this chapter. When we begin 2021-22, it should be fairly fair in itself, so that we move on. I would propose that in your submission, as you do closing remarks, you look at the first week of August, if you have any possibility of 2 days. I asked in the beginning, we take a date early enough, we prepare, and see if we can push the 52 issues in 2021-22 within those 2 years, two sittings, and we finish.
So give us the dates, we will work around. We'll block those dates.
Okay.
Unless superior forces than me come calling me.
Unfortunately, I'll not give you as Emmanuel or as the chair.
Thank you, Chair, honorable members and my colleagues. This is quite a turning point for this country. It's quite a learning curve, learning experience. The good thing is that it gives us energy to do things in the right way. So mine is to thank the chair and the honorable members for their honest and very engaging engagement with my team. The promise is this will not be repeated, but the information gaps that we have, we are going to provide to my brother here, the clerk, to circulate to you. That I promise. Today is Tuesday. I think before Friday we should be able to give in those documents. But be assured there is a lot of learning that has transpired, and be assured the years coming will be very, very clean years as much as we can. Thank you so much, everyone, for the very engaging session.
OAG.
Thank you, Chair. Nothing much from our side. We'll look at it.